Hey folks, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO. Hope you're having a phenomenal start of your fall. We see a lot of things taking place. It's been a crazy year when you think about it. We have seen the Herbalife situation come to a close. We've seen some enhancement in the industry due to that ruling. We have seen now, rumor is, and I did text Mr. Braco over at Vima to ask, and he said yes, we do have a settlement with the FTC. Could not speak about that, but said it was before the commissioners. They have that final approval. We've seen different companies come in and out of the industry. You've seen me talk about cryptocurrencies and certain companies and certain, what do you call it, data mining. Is that what they call it? They call it some kind of mining, coin mining, I guess. But you've seen me talk about that, and the question mark of why do you need a comp plan when you're dealing with currencies. Today I want to talk about the Forex market, what's called the Forex exchange market. Right now there seems to be three major players, if you will, that offer some type of Forex education and other services. It's a matter of fact, one such company I spoke about over a year ago before they really put the Forex in. We have since taken that video offline. And I did that for two reasons, so that you know. Number one, I have a client now in the Forex arena. I don't think it's fair that we have a video that's over a year old, excuse me, that's up when I have a client in that business until we do an updated video on them. Number two, it was outdated. And they've made so many changes over there at that company. But of the three, there's only two that I really think seem to be focused on what they need to do. Now, a lot of people say, Troy, what is Forex? And what I want to do, I use a lot of research. This one here, I've used the Barron's Financial Guide since I was a broker. And this is the Directory of Finance and Investment Terms. You can go pick it up at any store. I want to look at two definitions in here. Number one, the first one, is what is the Forex market? It says the Forex market, the exchanges and electronic trading systems comprising the market for foreign exchange, including the spot market for currencies, foreign currency futures and options, and forward exchange transactions. Participants include central banks, commercial and investment banks, hedge funds, international operations, and individual traders. I'm going to focus this video on the individual traders here in a second. The Forex operates 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. They're closed on the weekends. And then it says also see non-deliverable forward market, the NDF. So I flipped over to that, and it says in here, it's very small, non-deliverable forward, a short-term forward contract on a thinly traded or non-convertible foreign currency, not otherwise internationally traded. Contracts in the NDF market are settled in cash, and profit or loss is the difference between the exchange rate agreed upon on a fixing date and the spot rate at the time of the settlement date. NDFs are typically quoted for time periods of 1 month to 1 year and are quoted and settled in US dollars. Now I bring all this up because I want you guys to understand I am studying now the Forex market. As a former Series 6, 63, 65, I know somewhat. I had to go get licensed and do business in the mutual fund and the annuities business, but we had to learn everything that a Series 7 and all these other series out there have to learn with the Securities and Exchange Commission. But what I've seen is the Forex market. Now, the Forex market goes clear back to Egypt, 1st century, if you will. We saw a big influx during, gosh, I guess it would have been the maybe 1500s. The Medici family in Italy started a large exchange in Europe. And then in the 1800s, we saw a pretty good, solid exchange get started in the U.S. And then after World War II, I guess it was World War II. After World War II, when countries went off of the gold standard and went into paper, we started to see the foreign exchange rate go huge. Now, people have said, Troy, is there a place for this inside of the direct selling industry? And if you've seen me cover the cryptocurrencies, you know that I'm very, very cautious when I see a compensation plan attached to some type of a commodity, a currency, a collectible, if you will. A few years ago, I did an investigative report on the Numis network because I was concerned with the collectible pneumatic coins. And in their case, they actually had a viable product exchanging hands. The question is, can the Forex market, can the cryptocurrencies have a viable compensation plan? I'm not sure still about the cryptocurrencies. We're still digging into that. In the Forex, what I have learned is that because it is not as regulated as some other areas, because it's very volatile, because the majority of the exchange actually is done by just a handful of banks, 10 as a matter of fact. The top 10 currency traders are Citi, JP Morgan, UBS, Dutch Bank, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Barclays, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, XTX Markets, and Morgan Stanley. When you see that they control the bulk of this trillion-dollar business, then I really get concerned. And that's when I started digging in to iMarkets Live. They were really the first company. Some of you know that I did do a review on another company, as I said, but they weren't in the Forex at the time. They were just into financial education. Now that we've dug deep into what is Forex trading, I got a call from Christopher Terry, the founder and CEO of iMarkets Live. He had just brought on Spencer Reese as his attorney, and he called and said, Troy, could you do some work with me in the area of compliance? I want to make sure that our field is doing things right. He brought Spencer in. Spencer actually tweaked their compensation plan to where they started focusing on customer acquisition, not on just building a network. And that's been some of the problems or problematic situations, I'll clarify that I've seen with the education-based financial companies, is that they aren't focused on the education. They're just focused on churning. We see this a lot in the cryptocurrency market. What I saw over here, and after talking with Chris Terry, literally hours upon hours, from 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to midnight, 1 o'clock at night, I've been able to get him on the phone. I've gone through their digital trading, what I'll call their educational platform, looked at their videos, studied some of the interviews that he's done. What I think sets Christopher Terry apart from some people that are in this niche is that he is a trader, a professional trader, someone who has been trading literally for decades. Sometimes he's had success, sometimes he's not. But I think at the end of the day, what we have to look at is what is the intent behind why people do what they do. And the more that I've talked with Christopher Terry, it's not been about, hey, I want to go build the world's largest network marketing arm. It's been, Troy, I want to educate the people on how to go out there and truly be able, little at a time, as their risk tolerance improves, they're able to go out there and study and learn all the currencies and how to do this trading. And I tell you what, in what I've learned so far, this really is a very tricky, what I would call high risk investment. Currencies can just like that switch. So if somebody is going to be in that market, the average person, again, understand this is not as regulated as other parts of the securities industry is. So when I looked at this, it's like they need education. iMarkets Live and some of the other companies, we're actually, even though iMarkets Live is a client, I'm going to study the other companies, be able to do some comparisons, not just companies inside of network marketing. Something that I've learned is that some of the big brokerage houses actually provide some educational platform. It's just I've not seen any quite like iMarkets Live. iMarket Live seems to work on both sides of the pond, if you will. They have trading classes, live trading classes going on in Europe. They also have them in the US. So I'm studying this. Some of the work that we're doing with iMarkets Live is making sure that the message from the field, because in the old days they had some people that had joined their company that didn't care about you, the actual user of the platform, the service. All they cared about was money, money, money. When Christopher Terry's legal team got in there and said, you cannot do this, and they stopped all of their comp plan and they tweaked it and made it a viable compensation plan for the direct selling industry, marketing an educational product, some people didn't get paid. Some people didn't want to go out there and try to get customers. All they wanted to do was go out there and lambaste them on the internet, which was very interesting because most people, when they talk, you can tell the agenda that they have. And as I read through some of these reports, you know, they all said, we were terminated, we were terminated, we were terminated. It's like, well, you're terminated for a purpose. You know, are there certain times when there's a wrongful termination? Absolutely. You guys know I'm advocates for the reps. But most times that's not what happens. So as we move forward into studying over the next few months, through the end of the year and into the first of the year, we're going to study Forex. We're going to put out a series of videos, not just on IML. We're going to put out some videos on some of the other companies also. And you may say, Troy, isn't that a conflict of interest with your client? No, because at the end of the day, isn't it about you? Don't you guys need viable information? Don't you need to be able to do your due diligence? Don't you need to be able to say, hey, is this culture the right one for me? Or is that culture the right one for me? Sometimes when we look at it, we jump into a company and we do it for all the wrong reasons. You need to be able to know you can trust the leader that's in those companies. You need to be able to know that you can trust the field leaders that are in that company. IML has a very diverse field leadership. One such person, Brandon Boyd, who's been with the company now for, I think, just right out a year. I've known Brandon for several years. He's got a passion for being able to train and motivate and educate people. Lawrence Michael Young, good friend of mine that I've known for several years now. One of the, what I would say is one of the leaders in the African American community in direct selling. We don't see enough of their success. And I'm looking forward to actually interviewing Lawrence. I have watched him grow, come out from under the wings of his mentor a few years ago, and create a viable movement inside of IML. And there's other great leaders that we'll interview, but I think most important is that you and I both understand what the Forex market is and whether or not you have the risk tolerance to get into it. And if you do, then you need to be able to know which company will give me the best education, which company may I learn from, so that I can go out there and have the best opportunity to make a profit with my investment inside the Forex community that's there. It's going to be an interesting one. This here, I love a challenge. I love seeing stuff outside the box. And IML and all the other Forex companies, they're definitely outside the traditional box of direct selling. Live life like it's an epic adventure. Stay dangerous, stay strong. And if you're in network marketing, act like it.